合唱。ナモ阿弥陀仏。
ナモ阿弥陀仏。
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 ナモ阿弥陀仏。ナモ阿弥陀仏。ナモ阿弥陀仏。
ナモ阿弥陀仏。ナモ阿弥陀仏。
高原意義偉人無極如前妙無用当社一月間に主公遠慮開始の平有脈十目如来予言調整無理小学大用ホールジポ開門精進三昧智慧意徳無量修正経由人体前年小仏崩壊愚人人の空語外体無明欲ぬ生尊よむ人の死死人徳無量空君広大智慧人妙光明意相真の大戦願がサブ在所法稼働生じ未不下段不正上位解任生じ如是三昧智慧以上五世徳部不行志願一切空空一切大安決しうぶ百千の 無量大小終了後者空用一切死と勝負不尿愚道検証不客非尿語者勝負世界無不可け無修せの光明師匠変死諸国行税精進偉人安良両が差部国土大五種奇妙道場超絶国領内容二部闘争がと愛民道南一切自法来生新年少女意図が国経楽安の公文神妙是が心象本願の日力少々欲自法世尊知恵無下上領子孫知が信行軽量心死食毒中我行精進忍辱不軽ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブがんにしくのく病 内心往生安楽ナモアミダ仏。
ナモアミダ仏。
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 ナモアミダ
ナモアミダ
仏。
仏。ナマンダナマンダナマンダナマンダナマンダナマンダナマンダ。
Three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human form? Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One? Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of the way to enlightenment and become aware of his supreme teaching. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depths of his doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in the life of harmony, in the spirit of universal brotherhood, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent and profound and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meanings of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Buddha. 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 Namo Amida Buddha.
Hello and welcome to today's Dharma Talk for this YouTube service. Please join me in Gassho. Nyakufu shoujo no chikai yue, shingyo makoto ni toki itari, ichi nen kyoki suru hito wa, ojo kanarazu saramari nu. Due to his vow, if they are not born, the time for awakening serene faith being ripe, for him in whom one thought of joy arises, birth is certainly determined. Namo Amida Buddha. 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 So what we read today is the 26th wasan from the Jodo Wasan. The first part of it, due to his vow, if they are not born, this is the concluding part of the 18th vow, the primal vow. The vow which guarantees us birth in the Pure Land by taking refuge in the Nembutsu, the Namo Amida Butsu. So I found myself this week in the midst of a teacher I wasn't expecting. So I have another job outside of here because I'm a graduate student and I'm still a student priest. I'm still learning and still becoming better at this, and definitely will be a student the rest of my life, but right now I am literally a student to become one day a head priest of a temple. And so I still have a very active life outside of the temple, and I still have a job that isn't necessarily always here. And I met a teacher yesterday at this job. And I don't know this teacher's name. And we never actually spoke. But this teacher taught me about impermanence. And this teacher taught me about my inability to let go. And this teacher taught me what it was like to live a life where those around you loved you and to live a life of hard work. Like I said, we never spoke. And this teacher was dead when I met him. I'm a paramedic, and this particular teacher was in their field, farming, when they had what's likely a massive coronary event and passed. And although in my capacity as a paramedic, I did what I could to keep them alive, we were unable. And they passed. And they passed in their fields where their family was, where their work had been, where what they had put in the ground themselves with their own hands had grown many times again and again and again. And in that moment of meeting this teacher, I was reminded quite thoroughly that this too shall pass. I shall pass. This is impermanent. My existence is impermanent. And this causes me much discomfort because I am a foolish being full of blind passions. And in my mind, the mind in the back, the mind that is hard for me to control, the mind that is my subconscious, I want to exist forever. I do not want to pass. I do not want to no longer exist. But this teacher taught me that I will no longer exist at one point in time. Be it tomorrow or be it 80 years from now, I cannot say. But it will happen. And so in reflection of that event yesterday, I looked to the teachings of Shinran Shonin, our great teacher, our master in this Jodo Shinshu form of Buddhism, and in this Jodo Wasan. Shingyo makoto ni toki itari, the time for awakening serene faith being ripe. Ichinen kyokai suru hitu wa, for him in whom one thought of joy arises. Ojo kanarazu sadamari nu, birth is certainly determined. The knowledge that the Nembutsu will lead to my birth, my Ojo, in the Pure Land, fills me with joy. And in a singular moment, ichinen, I understand this. And because I am a foolish being, full of blind passions, I forget it. And I am reminded by teachers who I meet every day that I am impermanent and that I should put my faith and trust in the Nembutsu teachings and in Amida Buddha and feel the joy that comes from this knowledge that I will be born in the Pure Land. Ojo, my birth is assured. There was a monk who lived around the time of Shinran. His name was Ippen Shonin, founder of the Jishu school of Buddhism. So like Shinran, but different. And Ippen felt this so deeply, this joy from this understanding of liberation from samsara, this ocean of birth and death, by the Nembutsu, that Ippen was said to break out in spontaneous song of the Nembutsu, singing it to the top of his lung. Namandabits, 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 going from town to town. So all could hear the joy in which this Nembutsu teaching gave him. He was also said to have danced around in circles, jumping up and down, hitting a bell, which was attached to the front of his robes, so he could hit the bell. Namandabits, namandabits, namandabits. That was the joy that Ippen felt from this knowledge of the Nembutsu being made specifically, not only for me, but for Ippen. Knowing that the causes and conditions, anything that has happened to me in my life to make me think that, no, I am not worthy, that I am so utterly made for this teaching. The causes and conditions are ripe today for the Nembutsu. And because of that, I am eternally grateful. And so when I say the Nembutsu, I am not doing anything. This is beyond me. But rather, this is the great practice of Amida Buddha. Because if all shall not be born in his land, let him not become a Buddha. And yet, the Buddha of infinite light and life did, and gave us this Nembutsu teachings. So this guarantee, Namo Amida Butsu, I say in pure gratitude from here. Namandavits, 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 Namandavits. So thank you to my great teacher yesterday, who I don't know, and yet taught me so much. And to that, I will continue for the rest of my life to say, Namo Amida Butsu, out of the gratitude that I feel for this amazing Nembutsu teachings. Please join me in Gasho. Nyakufu shoujo no chikai yue, shingyo makoto ni toki itari, ichinen kyoki suru hito wa, ojo kanarazu sadamari nu. Due to his vow, if they are not to be born, the time for awakening serene faith being ripe, for him in whom one thought of joy arises, birth is certainly determined. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu.